So I am so excited to be having this class, this lunch and learn with CG. I met CG some years ago. I don't even know how many years anymore. I can't keep up with days, months, years, all of that. But I also had the chance to talk with her on her Being Balanced podcast about essential oils. So if you guys have had a chance to listen to that, or if you haven't, go make sure a lot of these things, if you have listened to it and you want to go back after you hear us talk, a lot of those things will probably start to resonate even more. And so I'm just gonna, say here that this is a safe space. So feel free to ask questions. Like, I'll be talking, but please, I don't want to be the only one talking. You guys can chime in, ask questions, so that we can just have this conversation and it not just be me popping up slides and things. So I am a mother of four, ages 8, 6, 4, and 2. My husband and I are both entrepreneurs. I support him a lot in his business. And this is one of the main reasons why I started with Young Living Oils, because it was a lot. And so I have been using Young Living Oils for 2 years now. And thank you. Sorry. I asked my husband to bring me something to drink, so I knew I need it. I have been using Young Living Oils for 2 years now, and I originally got started because of my son, my second child. He is 6 years old right now, but at the age of 3.5, 4, he had severe allergies, and to the point where he was waking up, eyes swollen shut, almost diagnosed with asthma because they didn't know what else to do. And they were just going to give him a steroid to kind of see if that would help make it better. But literally, he could not go outside to during the season changes, fall and spring. And so we had exasperated every possible thing to help him with his allergies. And I had a friend who introduced me to the oils, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've tried oils in the store. They're not working. I don't want to do it. But I did do it after praying hard and literally crying on the floor, because it was also causing behavioral problems with him, because he was a 4-year-old who couldn't live his life. And so I got introduced to the oils, and he does not have those symptoms anymore. Like, it was an immediate season where we noticed he didn't have the symptoms. And little did I know that although we were getting into for that, I was actually helping out my emotions and using them for our whole family. And so I am super passionate about teaching other women, mothers, entrepreneurs, businesswomen, anyone, how to use oils to support their emotions, because I myself have been able to do that, and to help with my children to do that. Just in the time we are in now, there's so many emotions, so many things going on. And so this class will help to show you guys how to do that for you, for your family, for your spouse, your partner, and to show other people how to do it. So I want to say, disclaimer, that I am not a doctor. I cannot diagnose, treat, or prescribe anything. But this session is a goal to empower you to do that for yourself, and to do that for your children and in your home. So just to show the tools that we have, and know that we can offer that to you, and that they are readily available to you. So that's my brief intro. We could chat more to get more into it. CG, you want to just talk about oils and introduce yourself?
Sure. So most of you guys know me. I put mascara on for you today. I'm really proud of the mascara thing. So most of you guys know me. And thank you for being here. I was really excited to have this conversation with Michelle, because this is my second round of using essential oils. I started using them like a few years ago, and I really didn't know how to use them. Like, no one really walked me through like when to use what. So I was just using whatever smelled good. And it was just making the house smell good. And that seemed like the solution. But after Michelle and I talked for the podcast, she really started breaking down all these like things that I could heal with oils and like make myself feel better. You know, Trip at the time was going through a nightmare phase, and he was having these really, really intense nightmares, and he couldn't sleep in his bed because of it. And he was sleeping with us, and it was driving us crazy. Everybody was exhausted because no one was getting any sleep. And so Michelle was like, nope, put some oil on like his big toe, his forehead. And I was like, okay, whatever, anything at this point to get him to get through a good night of sleep. And it worked. And now every night, I mean, y'all, Trip is 6 years old, and every night he's like, where are my essential oils? Because he believes in it. He's like, I know that I'll be able to sleep and the whole house will be better because of it. So, now I'm all in. I literally will need to focus or need some productivity, and I will text Michelle and say, tell me what I need. She will tell me, and I will do it, and it works. And so I'm a believer. I think that there are a lot of things out there about essential oils. There are a lot of brands, a lot of companies. But one thing for me is that I'm a brand loyalist. And once I find something that works, I just stick with it. I'm not really into trying a million and one things. I honestly don't think I have time to try a million and one things. So it works for me. I believe in it. And so I wanted her to come talk to us. Also, this year has just been tough emotionally. I personally have had emotions that I've never felt before. I just feel like I could never really get anything done. It feels like there's always something looming for me to do. I'm 800 days late on text messages. Seeing Inga's face reminds me I haven't replied to her text message from like 30 days ago. So I'm going to do that after this call. So I feel behind all the time. I feel like from March 9th until now, I just can't keep up. And so oils have really kind of helped center those emotions and help me not just be in a rut all day and feel bad about my current season of life. So that's why we're here. Back to you, Michelle.
Awesome. So we're going to get into what essential oils are. Not real deep, because it is like wide. Like once you start going in, it's a lot of information. And so I just say, take this information in. Again, if you have a question, jump in, type it in the chat, or even just unmute yourself. Like it's not, it won't take up much time to do that. So I am going to share my screen. Okay. And it says it's disabled. I think it might do it. Let's see.
Try now.
Awesome. There we go. Y'all can see all the tabs. Let's see. Awesome. Okay. Is that up? Good. Okay, so how oils work to support our emotions. This kind of shows what happens when we smell an oil. And basically oils are just plant juice. That's the most simplest form to put it. And they are ultra concentrated, and they can be produced by cold pressed rinds or through the careful process of steam distillation of roots, stems, leaves, flower petals, resin, and bark. So true essential oils. True, real essential oils. I kind of mentioned this when we talked about my son's allergies and me trying them. They have a frequency in them that helps us to switch the brain in the part of our brain that is hardwired to all of this, our limbic system, which goes down to our digestive system, our hormones, every body system in our body. So when we smell true essential oils that are truly 100% oils, it goes to the part of the brain that is that holds our memories, our thoughts, our feelings. There are little receptors in our nose, and they pick up on all the molecules from that plant or that essential oil that we're smelling. So it's hardwired directly to this. It's almost like a plug and an outlet. So once we smell it, it's like it's sending these molecules up into our brain, and then they start to filter and go where they need to go. The plants are smart. They find where they need to go and find what they need to fit. Same if you were out in a garden, a lot of times your plants know what to do. God created them to do what they were meant to do. So they do that same exact thing in our body. And so within 2 seconds of you smelling an oil, changes are happening in your limbic system. And they're finding what they need to do, where they need to go, in order to shift our emotions. And so with that, I kind of talked about it here. Young Living essential oils, they have a seed to seal process where even the dirt does not have any pesticides in it. So they find wherever their farms are, they own their farms. That's one big thing. But where their farms are, yes.
Just real quick, we can see your screen, but we cannot see the actual images.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So maybe a double click on whichever image you're referring to. We see a list of files.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that.
What do I
do? Are you
change the screen that you're on? Like you need to do it for your desktop. Like so when you share, you need to change the screen that you're viewing.
Oh gosh. Okay, hold on. Maybe I need to shift these into the desktop. Is that what y'all saying?
Or like when you hit share screen,
oh, okay.
Go pick different I guess windows are gonna pop up. Pick the window that showcases the actual file that you're looking at.
Let's see. Okay. Is that it?
It's off my screen now.
No? Okay. Let's see.
We can see it now.
Okay, so did y'all see the first one with the brain? No. Okay, let's go back to that one because that's important. Goodness. Okay, new share. And I'll just talk on this about this one. So can y'all see that? Yes, awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here it shows where it goes into our nose and it goes into those receptors, and then those receptors start to kind of fill out. They go through the limbic system, which is the area of the brain that holds our memories, our thoughts, and our feelings. And then those go down and start to work with the body system. So your thyroid, your reproductive glands, your adrenal glands, your digestive system. And so that's how they work for our emotions. And then they also filter into our physical body. So screen sharing has stopped as a shared window. Oh my gosh. I should have had a tutorial on this. And I might just not have to do it. Here we go. Okay, I'm getting it. So Young Living essential oils, they have vibrational frequencies that can change emotional patterns. And you can use them on certain alarm points that the frequency, by smelling them directly, and that frequency goes directly to that specific organ. The oil releases that pattern from the limbic system of the brain and providing direct access to the body's cellular memory. And an emotional pattern may be identified from the emotion itself or from the area of the body where there is pain or discomfort. So that kind of just goes back to the oils being can be used for both physical and emotional, and how our emotional pain can turn into or manifest into pain in our physical body if we do not deal with that. So I think I'm gonna do this again. I probably should just open this all up. Let's see. Oof. Here we go. So this is a fun fact. We have 100 trillion cells in our body. Each can store up to 6 gigabytes of information. And this information starts storing when we are in our mother's womb. So a lot of times, I don't know if you guys have heard of like generational trauma, like things we are holding on to that's not even ours. It's because those cells start recording basically our mother's emotions. So like when you're pregnant, those things have been transferred to the baby as well. So this is like really important to me because I'm like, I want to release the trauma that I'm holding on to that's not even mine, and then also help my kids to not pass that on, and so to have a generational impact on that. So the cells store information from birth and through our entire life. So we are holding on to stuff that isn't ours, and our cellular memory is recording on a second by second basis. So if we just even think about now what it's recording and what all the emotions that we're going through, then I think it's so important for us to be able to process and release these emotions so that we don't continue to carry those on or pass them on to the generations ahead of us. So I think I got all of that. I might have to stop this, y'all, because it's going to slow me down. Let me see. Yep, I'm not going to be able to do this. Ooh. I'm so sorry. I think I'm going to stop it and like have it send, or I'll just read it. Let me see, because it will be time consuming, I think. So our limbic system controls our emotions, thoughts, memories, and feelings. So when God designed us, that the nose is the only area of our body, or the only sense out of the five senses that is connected to our memory and our thoughts and our feelings. No other sense is connected to that. And so that's why oils work, because when they go in there and they switch the brain to help us with our emotions. And so if you just think about being in a garden, you go to the grocery store and you see roses, you see flowers, what's the first thing we do? We go and we smell them, because there's an immediate attachment to that memory or a feeling of what roses make us feel like. A sense of love, or I just, I do this, or there's just the sense in your heart. And so the same thing, if there's, you could have a memory connected to cookies. Like my children will always know that cookies means that daddy is working. Like that is, they will smell cookies and that's work to them. Or it could be something, your smell of your grandmother's house, that's immediately connected to a memory. And so that's how oils work when we do that, when we smell them. So our emotions are like the ocean. They are very powerful. They provide momentum to initiate action. And they ebb and flow. And so as they ebb and flow, I think it's important that we have the tools to use in order to process them, so that we don't hold on to that stress, or we don't hold on to feelings of anxiousness or grief or sorrow. Those things, when we hold on to them, we don't process them, they start to affect our physical body. Because there is a part of, there's a frequency for our emotions, there's a frequency for the food we eat, there's a frequency for even our organs. And so if that frequency is lowered, it also lowers our immune system. It also lowers, the way we operate, or how we, go to work, or, how we may lash out on our family. I have done that. Like, anger has came out because I did not know, how to process and deal with those emotions. So they help to do that. They help to process that. And how they do that is because it's a quick, immediate thing where we can have an immediate feeling to smelling that oil and those molecules getting in there and finding what they need to do within 2 minutes. 2 minutes, that's all it takes. And so I just think having those tools to do that in our homes is really important. So let me go. And so when you smell that if we go back to the garden and I talked about like you feel it in your body, like there's an immediate reaction of you feeling that. What you're doing is, and same with an oil, what you're doing is letting go of those emotional blocks. You're letting go of that trauma. You're letting go of the thoughts that you were never meant to bear. You're letting go of feelings of anxiousness, feelings of grief, sorrow, anger, all of that. And so when we do that, it allows our body to operate at its full potential. And so, for example, grief and sorrow are two things that are held in the heart. And so if you were to sit here and think about something that has, you know, you've had loss over, or grief or trauma, or something that you were just hurt by, you would be able to feel it somewhere. Your body is holding on to it somewhere, whether like right now, when I said that, it was my back. There's something, you know, I felt it in my back. And so if we just, you know, you think about a thought, and it just shows the connection between the two of those. And so when trauma is not released, again, we're holding on to it in our body, because man can never create something that God has created for us to use these plants for. And so I just think when he created our bodies, and created these plants for us to use, he created the plants first. And then he created us, because he knew that we would need them. And so when he created our bodies to use these plants, he knew that we were never to bear those emotions of fear, of anxiety, of grief, of sorrow. He never wanted us to hold on to that. Sorry, getting teary-eyed. And so I think for us to have and to use the tools that he has given us, these plants, these oils, if they're real oils, and I say that and I mean that, like, don't go to the store and use these, because they have synthetics in them, they have all kind of things in them that they're not going to work. They will do more harm. But when we use the tools that he has given us, we can then release it. We release those things that are just in our mind. We give it to him, and we were never meant to bear it. Like, take the yoke off, take the burdens off, and give it to him. And so that's what these oils have allowed me to do. And I'm just grateful that he gave us that gift, the gift of plants to do that. And so, again, sorrow is stored in the lungs. Every frequency of an oil has a frequency to a specific organ in our body. And so sorrow is stored in the lungs, grief is stored in the heart, anger is stored in the liver, sadness is stored in the throat. So, you know, a lot of times, like, if you feel those things, they can be connected to a part in our body. So our emotions cannot be stored in our brain. We actually would not be able to walk through life if our emotions were stored there. So therefore they have to find somewhere to go. So that's why a lot of times there's a lot of connections to our emotions and our health, because God never intended for us to hold it up here. He never intended for us to hold it in our brain. He wanted us to give it to him. But when we don't give it to him, then it has to find a place to go, and that's typically in our body. So where are we right now with our emotions? There's a lot of grief, there's a lot of sorrow, there's a lot of fear, there's anxiety, even for our kids, like, you know, because if we have it and we're, you know, putting that onto them. And so I just want everyone to be able to walk in the freedom and knowing that you do not have to hold on to that. You have the tools to release it. And I'm here to walk you through it. CG, is throwing out all kind of knowledge, is able to walk people through that. And I just want that for others, truly. I want them to have that gift that he has given us. So oils help to process emotions effectively and faster. It's not to say, like, I had someone before, it's like, I still feel stressed. The stress is gonna come. It's coming from, you know, work, it's coming from everywhere, all those things, but this is for you to process it, to effectively, like, you know, deal with that emotion, process it so that you can move forward. And so that's what they do. And so the same way that I started with oils and I had someone to reach out to, the same way that CG started with oils, we both started with a kit that Young Living created. And it comes with 12 oils in them. And like I said, every oil is an emotional oil. A lot of times people think, oh, I need all of these blends that Young Living has. No, that kit you have is packed with oils that help you with emotions. So every oil is an emotional oil, and it is a physical oil because they are directly correlated to each other. Like our body isn't like all these parts. Our body is one part with three main things: our mind, our spirit, and our heart. All those things are our body, and they work together. And so every oil is an emotional and physical oil. Each oil holds a specific frequency, again, that matches the frequency in our body, in our systems, in our organs. There are specific places to put oils, but that's like, as further education. And so what you want to do is just at least smell it. Again, to go back to that first slide, you smell it and they know what to do. God made plants smart. They know what to do. They know when to grow. They know when they need water. And yes, he gave us the opportunity to nurture them, but they know what to do. And so I'm going to show the, I think I was going to show the kit on here. Let me do this again because it's just the last one, and kind of just go through what is, can y'all see that one? Uh-oh, hold up. All right, can y'all see the kit? No. Here we go. Let me see. Here we go. Okay, so I wanted to show the premium starter kit. Now on here, I'm going to talk about the emotions, but on here you can see the oils that come in it, and then this one shows the physical. So as I go through, I'm just going to say like what emotions each oil has, but you can be reading what it will do for your physical too, and how they just correlate to each other. And so the kit comes with 12 oils. All of these oils were created to support each body system, and to support each emotion that you could be experiencing. So lavender is an oil that supports, as far as emotions, it supports the feeling of abandonment. That's a huge one of mine. It's one of my favorites. Supports the emotion of criticism and the fear of unfoldment or revealing something. So again, if you're having that emotion, like if I'm having an emotion of abandonment, which I feel like we might all be going through that right now. If I'm having that emotion, I take that oil, drop 3 or a drop or 2 in my hand, rub it, and just deeply inhale it, and you will feel your body shift. And you can say an affirmation. I like to replace my lie with truth. I get my Bible out, go to abandonment, go to like who my father is, and I will replace that with truth. So it's a quick way of just switching the brain to positive thoughts and not negative. Then we have lemon. Lemon is the fear of detachment, being left behind, entitlement, emptiness, frustration, life bearing unreliable, and sadness and stuck. So lemon is a good one for the throat. A lot of times sadness can be stuck in the throat. This is also like our thyroid, all of those. And so if you're feeling stuck, that's a good one. I use this on Reagan, my third child, because she has a lot of feelings of being left behind. She's third child. She has those feelings, and we literally use lemon on her for that. Digest is the feeling of being disillusioned, discovering that something is not as good as it is one believed it to be. That's a huge one. And so digest is also connected to our digestive system, so our belly, any things like that. Peppermint is the fear of failure, fear of dependence, and then restriction. Thieves is sneaky or uncertainty. So thieves is also considered, so uncertainty would be like giving like courage in some sense. Stress away, one of my favorites, is for mental and emotional stress. This one's pretty plain. Restlessness or argumentative. Citrus fresh is the feeling of not wanting to be here. That's a huge one. So that is really for um, like depression, sadness. That citrus fresh is a big one for that. Frankincense is the feeling of worthlessness. People who have vertigo, dizziness, and then FU feelings. Yes, FU. If you, it's like you're done, that's what that one's for. Raven is the feeling of being rejected. And it's also if you're holding on to deep sadness and grief. Again, that's Raven is a respiratory oil. So again, those lungs, we hold on to sorrow and grief right here in the lungs. And then we have Panaway, which is exhaustion, fear of emotions, people who are afraid to feel, like because we have not been taught to do that. That's a good one. Valor, withdrawn, aggression, persecuted, and inability to cope. Valor is also the courage oil. I can do hard things oil is what I call it, like, or feelings of anxiousness, another one to good one. Valor was made specifically to get someone out of a hard place fast and quickly. Because yes, today I got a whole big bottle. It's in the diffuser. I put it on. It gets you out because it balances your nervous system immediately. It balances it's basically like clearing the highway so that whatever else you put on after that goes straight to where it needs to go. So it helps to balance the energies fast. Peace and calming is the feeling of moodiness. I use this one. You actually put it on your nose when you're moody. The feelings of being scared, indecisiveness, addiction, control, and argumentativeness. So those are in there. I have this up too just to show you what the physical needs are for it. And that's what I love about this is that although you might be using an oil for an emotion, it's also going in there and helping your physical, or it's the other way around. Although you might be using it for physical, it's also helping your emotions at the same time. And so with this kit, you get those 12 oils. You also get a diffuser. You get a sample of Thieves sanitizer, a sample of Thieves cleaner, and 2 rollerball filaments with those. And I'm gonna X out of that. And so it's super amazing to have the tools in your home. I want to see if anyone has any questions. I'm also, if you have some, I'm going to be looking through my notes to make sure I got it all up. And then if there's something else I need to put in there, Actually, I'm going to share this because it kind of also shows there's a lot of research that's been linked to how our emotions can affect our physical body. So the ACE is the CDC. They have done a study on childhood experiences. And this kind of shows those who have had negative childhood experiences and how it correlates to what their health looks like if they did not deal with those things in their childhood, those negative things that happened to them in their childhood, what happens. And a lot of times it's the health, or it's, mental things that they have going on. And so I just wanted to share that. I have more research on that too. And there is been a lot of research for what happens with that. And so I see we have a question. When you inhale, when you inhale and works within 2 minutes, how long might the oils work? Love the connection to the emotions. Cher, do you want to explain that? Are you saying how long in your system?
Yeah, so you said it takes about 2 minutes for your body to respond and for the oils to work. About how long does that work last, if you will? I might have not
Yes.
typed it correct.
Okay, so oils, so they stay in the body for 30 minutes. And so the great thing, what I love too about oils is because they're not a medicine, you can apply as often as you need it. So, and really it just depends on too, like how often you've been using them. So some might last longer just depending on your body being acclimated to them. But yeah, 30 minutes is how long they stay into your body. And yeah. Thank you for asking that.
I have a question too, and I'm probably about to say a bad word considering Young Living, but I've used doTERRA for 5 years.
Yeah.
But why I wanted to come was because I don't have anybody to guide me through this. And like you were saying, with so I have 2 asthmatics, and my big one just went back to school yesterday. We saw Ralph, by the way, CG. I know, it was good to see him. I was like, hey. And then the younger one seems to have it a little bit worse. But then my oldest, as you said, when I was pregnant with him, I gave him anxiety. And he's anti-medicine because his dad has an addiction problem. So my concern, or what my question is with the diffusing versus trying to get an almost 16-year-old to and I think the way I'm going to get it into him is diffusing, and we already diffuse, but I don't think we're diffusing the right things. So what do you say with diffusion as far as how, is that, and I'm sorry, I don't know the name, but we've done like a balance or a serenity, which is like, I think the thieves type thing. So, okay, CG, I see your comment. So anyway, I'm just wondering, and I mean, I'd love to maybe talk to you more about it later, because neither one of my kids, because of all their issues, want to take medicine because we are stuffing medicine down their throat. So I'm definitely, and frankincense was brought to Jesus. So to me, that's, so anyway, that's kind of my rambling question.
Yeah, definitely. So diffusing works too. So diffusing actually sometimes will work for me better, depending on what it is, will work for me better than, me putting it on, because you're still smelling it. And actually when you diffuse, it's pumping out more molecules because it has that water, it has that, I don't know, the little thing at the bottom, the little metal thing that helps to pump it out. So sometimes when I have headaches, I actually will diffuse versus me putting it on, because I don't know, I feel like it helps it much better. As far as, did you ask me a question about doTERRA or no? Oh, you're on mute.
Have a touch screen, so sometimes the mouse works, sometimes it doesn't. So I guess my other question that I'm confused on is, I know peppermint and citrus oils are supposed to wake you up, but then it looked like maybe they were also to help with the anxiety. And so would you diffuse that because my biggest one is having issues sleeping, of course, being a teenager. I guess, can you help me understand that? Because I was thinking you use citrus when you needed to have a big pick-me-up, and maybe I misread that wrong.
Yeah, no. So it honestly, if Young Living has not taught me anything, it has been to listen to my body. And I do understand you're talking about a 16-year-old. And so really it's just whatever works. Like, I know people who sleep with peppermint, in their diffuser. I do not. One, because I like my sleep, and so I'm scared to even try it because I want to go to sleep. But it really just depends. And orange, though, I can sleep with orange in my diffuser, but I can also use it as a pick-me-up. So it just depends on your body. For your teenager, do you think he would use a rollerball? It's hard. So I would just say start with diffusing. Start with diffusing. Honestly, if you could get him to use one thing and him to see, a change from it, that would be it. So maybe it's starting with something. It's really just taking those oils. Hey, what speaks to you? Ask him that. Our body knows. God created, our body. What?
No,
would,
no, it's I don't know, or
yeah,
nothing is what I'm getting. So,
yeah,
so it's me trial and error. And I think it's just because, and where with my little one, it's we've had stomach issues. She's a lot bigger than the kids, so we've been to every doctor, and I'm just tired of going to the doctors.
yeah,
So maybe we just talk a little bit more after. I'll
yeah,
get your contact info.
definitely, for
Okay.
sure. Yep, and that's what I love too
I
about
just
Young
wanted to
Living.
make sure diffusion work as much.
Yes, it does. Now, I mean, so it works, but you can double time it when you use it topically, and but it still works the other way.
So,
And I love, go ahead.
oh, well, I was just going to chime in real quick, Jennifer, because I've been tricking Travis into using oils and he doesn't realize it. So maybe, I've been diffusing with him. So if he's like in the office area and if he's told me, oh, I'm working on a major project or I'm on deadline, I will go to my little essential oils Bible book and I will find the oil that will work best for him. And then I start diffusing it. He thinks that it's a plant mister, like a humidifier. He has no idea. Like he sees me turn it on, but it's right by the plants. So he thinks that it's for like the humidity in the room. And so I've just been kind of easing it on in with him. Now, Trip, he thinks it's like an adventure. So he's so young that he's like, yeah, this is fun. Whatever you're doing, you're putting things on my toe and it tickles and whatever. So I started him young enough to know, but yeah, Travis has no idea what's going on. And I mean, I'll even turn on the diffuser like when he's in a room. Like he doesn't like the smell of lavender, but I diffuse it every night and he hasn't said anything. I don't even think he knows it's happening, but he'll tell me I don't like lavender candles. And I'm like, okay. And then I diffuse lavender and he's sleeping. So I don't know. So you might have to get a little stealthy with it.
Little one, she's like lavender rollerball all over where it's like I can't breathe.
Also, I think the vitality, you can mix it with beverages and food. So like I make an immune support tea for Travis because he has bad sinus infections, and I'll put a little bit of the lemon vitality in there too. And again, he doesn't know, and it's okay to mix it with food and beverages. So I just do it.
Yeah, because you can actually I make capsules. If he will take a capsule of oil, that's awesome. It goes in there and knows what to do in there. And I love that, CG. I also tricked my husband. The best way to do it is at night. Our body is resting and they're getting so much, or we, are getting so much in the system. So you can put the diffuser right next to him for the asthma, all of that. Would be some steps to do that. And again, like CG said, I mean, I have all kind of tools here. Heal Your Body, like Young Living is awesome on like giving us the tools and having somebody to walk us through. This book right here is amazing. It has like 250 emotions in it for us to address and how they're connected to our body. So yeah. Thank you, Cher. Those are great questions. Cool.
I see a question from Cher about asthma. Did you mention which oil you recommended for asthma?
So it would be Raven, which comes in the kit. And Raven is a blend of eucalyptus, wintergreen, and lemon. I feel like I might be, and peppermint. So those are all good respiratory oils. There's also RC that Young Living carries. There's also Believe oil, which is great for that, and Abundance. Those are all like your good, like respiratory. I use Abundance just because I have abundance emotion things that I deal with. But yeah, those are all good. But in the kit, Raven is the number one oil for asthma. Yeah.
So, Michelle, we're nearing the end of our time together. I'm so glad that there were so many questions because even I was like jotting down my notes on my Post-it note, and I was like, go do this. I mean, Tripp actually has asthma, and we don't use his inhaler very often. And so it was good to just have that in my back pocket to know, when and if it's ever a time where we need to kind of attack that a little bit. So good.
That's awesome.
Couple of things. Michelle, you've got to tell us who the giveaway winner is. We're all sitting at the edge of our seats. And then also, before we go, I just want to let everybody know that I'll send out a recap email with this recording. So you'll have, all the things we discussed, but then also some of the tools that Michelle mentioned. I'll just put those links so that it's easy and you don't have to go out and hunt and find all the goods. And Michelle, tell us about, giveaway and cedarwood, because I recently have incorporated cedarwood into my diffusing and my inhaling and all those things. And I want you to tell all our friends about how amazing it is.
Cedarwood, man, first of all, I get teary-eyed when I think about it. Again, I started these oils for my children, not knowing that I would be using them. But cedarwood is, first of all, it's only $11.50. I'm like, this oil should be like up there with frankincense, but it is a powerful emotional oil. It helps to release emotional blocks, which also helps us to sleep. I used it for Reagan because she was not staying in her bed, would not go to sleep. She'd wake up in the middle of the night. We started using cedarwood and lavender, and she stayed in the bed, did not wake up. And how it helps to do that, both the emotional block and help us to get rest, is because it is basically a natural melatonin. It gives oxygen to our brain. And so when it does that, it helps us to remember or retain information. And for me, when I started using it, y'all, I had blocked out a ton of good memories, good and bad memories in my childhood. And the good memories started coming back from using it. And so I thought I was just using it for sleep. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at this memories that I just could not remember. Just because I had blocked it out. And it's still to this day, sometimes I'm like, why did I block it out? But it's just, my body trying to protect itself from things. And so super powerful oil. It's great for like when your kids are studying, for them to retain information. Maybe they're having a creative or emotional block. It helps to get rid of those things so that your brain can start to move forward with it. So, and it does that again by sending oxygen to the brain, which helps to create melatonin for sleep. So that is what I'm going to give away. Because it is my favorite oil, a 15 milliliter bottle of cedarwood. And we are going to give it away to Cher for asking, for asking the first question in the chat. So we will figure out how to get that to you. And then I will get all of those books over to you guys. Include details on all the books. I can't share. Yep. So I'll get all of those books to you guys to kind of share and see what it looks like. Use oils. Oh my gosh, Bianca, thank you, because I felt like I failed at the beginning of this. And I really don't know if I got all the information out, but I will definitely get that in there to you as well. So I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. And CJ will be following up with her email. And you guys, please, the kit is amazing. Those 12 oils in a diffuser. I didn't say the price. It's $165. Y'all, amazing. You have the tools, every single tool for your emotional, your physical, your mental health in your home to help you, your children, whoever, other people who might be experiencing some things. And we do not have to hold on to that. We do not have to hold on to it. So yes.
Y'all,